Hey, what's up everyone, Morey Croson here, and today we're going to be comparing Trayvon Bromell's top end speed at 60 meters and at 200 meters, and we're going to start the video right now. This is the newest edition of the Performance Lab. Reach your individual goals. You don't want to just talk about straight line speed. We also want to talk about your ability to be quick. We break down your video. Let's make you into the quarterback I know you can become. All right, so it is so great to see Trayvon Bromell back doing big things. He ran the 60 about 2 weeks ago and did really well against Christian Coleman. Came in second, barely lost to Christian Coleman by 100th of a second. And then just about a week ago, he went and ran a 20.64 in the 200 meter and won the indoor event there. And, really looks great in a lot of ways, and is such a great, as a fan, so awesome to be able to see him be able to come back from injury and still be back at top form. So go ahead and hop right into the breakdown here. We got Trayvon Bromell here on the right. I did a video about this about a week or so ago, and this is when he was going against Christian Coleman, like I said before, and you can see the turnover speed. That's really what I want to be able to go more in depth into. And he's coming off, I really wanted to say it's like around 1.6, let's say 1.6, just because of how the frame is here. I don't know if you guys can see this at the bottom, but how the frame's coming off, it ends up getting a little bit stuck. So we're going to say he went off at 0.16, okay, cycled all the way through, touched back with that foot at a little bit after that. So we're going to say about 0.5, right? And the thing is about when you look at this video is, it's imperfect, right? You're not going to be able to see exactly where he's at, but he's about 0.34 turnover speed. And then we're going to just compare that to here on the right, a little bit better video here. So this is 0.4, cycling through and landing back down at 0.8. Right, and so that's really the conversation here, is to really show that when you're running the 60 meter, you really have the ability to maximize that turnover a lot more, right? So it's about a 0.06 of a second's difference when you get into that 200 meter. And what's cool about being able to see Trayvon Bromell at the 200 meter is you start to see some of the things, some of the tendencies that he ends up doing in order to help him in really maximizing his speed, right? So you can't really see that left elbow drive as much when you're just like watching him sprint, at the 60 meters. But now with the 200 meters, you can see him really trying to lift that left arm up in the air. And he has kind of a unique angle of how he gets that hand out in front and then almost like pulls back with that left hand as he's getting himself going, right? And that is going to help him being able to propel himself a little bit more horizontally with the left hand, right? And a lot of this, we've talked about this before, ends up being a difference between how we are able to each have some individualization within our steps. So you can see with him, he really comes straight up with that left arm and around with that left arm, which is going to help him in being able to push off that left leg in a way that will help straighten him out, right? Or will help in generating some more rotational force. So that ends up being something that he utilizes to benefit. And we all want to be able to really figure out what do we do that are strengths, what do we do that are weaknesses that will help us in better understanding how we can maximize our top end speed. And you can see for him, on the right side, it's not as prevalent, but he still does do it. And he creates a lot of rotation there in that left shoulder. It really drifts that left shoulder down and then drives it all the way up. And how well you're able to sync that upper body and lower body really makes a big difference in your ability to really get to your top end speed. So he's getting and working on being able to get to his top end speed here. And on the 200 meter, while he's still maintaining a top end speed, you get to a point where you've topped out, right? You can't be at your 100% speed like he is here. He's at like a certain level of speed and just trying to keep that the highest amount of speed as possible, right? So he's gotten all the way up to his top speed. Now he's starting a kind of a downhill trend is what typically happens within the 200 meter. And then, you kind of try to finish off strong and get like a late push. And so right now he's already started kind of that downward trend, is now going through that late push. And so you can see some of the tendencies that he ends up doing in order to make that happen, which is really unique and cool to see. And we also can see the difference between, how much time is going to be spent on the ground. So if you are somebody that's really trying to run, the 60, the 100, the 200, and want to understand how to be able to train yourself to be able to do that, you have to understand that there's a lot of different ways that you have to be able to assess your running form to be able to really maximize your top end, and then also be able to hold more of like an endurance type of hold and be able to understand the differences between the two. And that really gives us a great understanding of the turnover speed, gives us a great understanding of where he is at overall with his development. So this is really an interesting thing to be able to understand within our running, is what are we doing within our top end speed to really make it so we are coordinating our upper body and our lower body, and then comparing that to what we're doing when we're doing like multiple reps, let's say, right? If we're trying to, let's get faster the 40 or the 60, and you get into maybe 8 reps of, running the 60, you're gonna end up with form that'll look a little bit more similar to what he was doing at the 200 here, which is not a bad thing. That's why he's running the 200, is so then he could be more of a well-rounded sprinter instead of just being good at like the 60 or just being good at the 200 or 400. We see that sometimes where you just get kind of stuck with only one event, and it's similar to one sport athletes. You just get stuck at one thing, and sometimes other guys that have a wide variety of different events that they're training for will end up surpassing you because it creates more of a possibility for your muscles to diversify how they are developing and adapting to the training load. So really cool to be able to see him run the 200, have a lot of success within that. And as always, if you like the information, click that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, comments, or recommendations, you can leave those down below. And as always, check out our speed programs. I think we have a lot of great stuff there. Big thing would be the breakdown to me, just getting a great understanding of what you're doing from a technique perspective, whether you're running the 40, the 60, the 100, the 200, just being able to really connect and understand, hey, this is what you want to be able to do to be able to get faster. Here's some drills, here's some exercises, here's some things to do to help you out. But there's so much variation, right? Each one of us have a different way that we're sprinting. So, I would highly recommend you guys checking out the best to see how they are. And I have a lot of the best recorded within this YouTube channel, so you can see that, but also just be able to take a look at you and see how you're able to compare with some of the best guys, and really be able to see, what you need to do within the start, within the drive phase, within the top end speed to really make it so you can make the most amount of improvement the fastest. That's my big thing, is how can you make the most amount of improvement within your times in the shortest amount of time? And that's what we want to do within the breakdown. So check out the links below in order to find out more. And as always, thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon.